Hey, Petty Ruxpin, how are you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. We'll hopefully be getting started here in just another minute. I know I'm a little bit late. And just like that, welcome on in, everybody. Welcome on into the Dragon's Den. My name's Digital Dragon, aka Luke, and I am a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. So, just wrapped up your last meeting of the day, and you're not planning on looking at work later. There you go. That sounds like a win. I was in the office today because we had a all hands for my org, and it went well. Other than the fact that I was just on my feet and in my boot most of the day, and my foot is sore, so hence you see me sitting down for the time being. Hey, Mr. Wizix, how's it going? I did go to the doctor yesterday. She said it does not appear like there's an infection in that toe that I broke, but to keep an eye on it and try and stay off of it as much as possible. So that is the plan. That is the plan. So today, on the last stream, I think we finished up all of the main build and wiring for the box turtle. Still need to cut a bottom deck panel. So I need to get that file and cut that bottom deck panel. And I need to, there was something else I needed to do. There was one corner that felt like the tapped hole wasn't all the way tapped. So I need to work on just running a tap. I'll just run it by hand. I did run it with a drill tap the first time. I just probably didn't run it deep enough. So I'll grab my hand tap and finish it out. Make sure that that is nice and tight. And then the next thing we're going to do is I've got the 2.4 sitting right over here. We're going to go to the bench side. So the 2.4 is sitting right here. And we're going to take the tool head off and redo the tool head. So that's kind of where we're going to start today. So you're going to see me sit down on the floor with a 2.5 and a 2 mil driver. And I'm going to take this tool head off. Again, we'll go ahead and take this tool head off. There will probably be a couple of things. I'm going to have to hodgepodge this together. Just simply the fact that this is an LDO kit, so it's got the rear door that has the spot for the thermistor. And it's got a standard two-head tool board, or two-board tool head board on this, so it's not like a it's not CAN bus or anything like that. So I might just have to take a couple things apart to get at everything here. But the goal will be hopefully that we can get this part done all in one tonight so that we don't have to keep fiddling with things. And I might go a little bit shorter tonight. We'll just say I've taken some grief from some people because I've been up on my foot and I'm a little tired, worn out. I am a little bit sick. The other thing I got at the doctor's was some antibiotics for a pretty decent sinus infection I've got going on. Okay, so the the Stealthburner, which is actually the front shroud, should be able to come off, sit down there. Nothing needs to be done with that. What needs to have stuff done to it will be the tool head, or the tool head bottom and the CW2 extruder mount. So we'll have to replace a few things in here. Open that up. Yeah, this should just pop up and out. Or PTFE tube. Ah, dang. Where are we at? There's the thermistor wire there, and I am going to need a tiny screwdriver to undo the thermistor wire. So, tiny screwdriver. Might actually be too big. That is too big. I know in here I got something. Hey, Thunder Keys, how's it going? Hey, Timor, how's it going tonight? Hope you're doing well. That should work. It's an LDO screwdriver, so that should work for what we need. I'm going to take care of myself, Nick. I am probably not going to stream that late tonight, just a couple of hours, so I can get some more rest and deal with all of this stuff. But yeah, rest, water. Right now, my water is in the form of coffee, but this is Dunkin', by the way. Miss Dragon did bring some Dunkin' home for me. Timor, Mr. Wizix, Petty Ruxpin, Thunder Keys, Mrs. Beans. Welcome on in. Hey, Free Heathen. Oh, sorry you didn't see that. Hey, Shrimp Father, how's it going? Sure you get plenty of rest and heal well. Yep, I'm working on it. Did I just hear Iron Man Luke is a bit rusty? Oh, Timor. Snap. Ugh. Okay, so there's one piece. This piece is how many screws? I don't know. Two? Could just be two screws connecting it to the chaotic lab, and then I'm doing a couple of wires, so we should be able to pop the whole top piece out. And where did that screw go? Okay, so that's there. This should be able to come up and off now. Okay. Well, that we need to disconnect this, which is up there. Back around. All right, that's off. This comes out and out. I said you come out. So stop arguing with me. So I promise I will be up there to chat with you guys momentarily. I'm just trying to um, get some stuff disconnected here so that we can sit up at the bench and do some things. There we go. Okay. Everything's disconnected now. Hey, Phantom, how's it going? Ugh. Once again, I don't know what I hit, but I hit something here and Balana Etcher decides to open up. It's really weird. Don't know why. Anyhow, okay, welcome back, folks. We are going to be working at the bench tonight, and we've got a couple of things that we need to do. We need to replace parts of our extruder so that we are built using the proper extruder that will have our front cover. And just for giggles and grins, I did do both parts of this just in case I needed to use both parts. I may not have to. And quite possibly I can get away with just using this door and not having to use, swap out a door, which would be really nice as well. So we'll see what all we need to dismantle here. Yeah, it looks like we might have to do a little bit more than I wanted to. That sucks. Oh well, we're going to just start taking things apart. How about that? All of the parts that we're taking off that we do not plan on reusing is going to go over here on the left onto our little blue silicone mat. We're going to start by taking the door off that has the additional thermistor on it. That's the chamber thermistor. That will actually get reused. We're just going to sit that over there. So this fractured dragon is okay. Mrs. Dragon made me go to the doctor. In fact, we called the doctor and made an appointment as we were driving back from Ohio. I had, it wound up, we got an appointment for today that would have been right during our all hands. So I called, Monday or I guess Tuesday, whatever day it was, and managed to get it switched to Wednesday, which was better. So I got in, all is well. My foot is still broken. It's just taken an abnormal, it's taken its time healing. I'm a little bit older, not as young and spry as I used to be. And things take a little bit longer to heal. Go figure. So yeah, kind of where we're at there. I do have a heck of a sinus infection, so we're working through that right now. And what else? That's pretty much it. Pretty much it. The positron itself, if you're talking about the positron named Fractured Dragon, it's still sitting in its case over there. I do need to bring it out and set it up, continue to run on it, break things in a little bit more. But it's all good. It's good. Hey, tugboat, how's it going? Yeah, the foot's doing okay. Like I said, I went to the doctor and she basically told me stay off of it, continue to elevate, continue to ice, continue to do what you can because I can't take NSAIDs for swelling because of my gastric bypass. So I'm kind of stuck with. Okay, oh, there we go. I'm not stuck, but I just have to be a little bit careful there as far as what I can take. And yes, this is a slightly different back design. So this comes out, that bearing comes out, and basically we just start swapping things over between them. And I bet you I put that up. Dang it. So yeah, doing good. We're working on healing. I need to stay off of it and as much as possible, which I'm working on. I'm working on. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at. Mrs. Dragon went with me. She made sure that I complained about the pain, and I was feeling not too bad. So the doctor was like, "So how's your pain level right now?" I was like, "It's about a 1.5 to a 2." And then Mrs. Dragon made a quick, you know, loving spouse that she is, made a quick movement with her foot towards my foot, and I jumped back, and she's like, "Only a 1 or a 2?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's only at a 1 or 2 unless you kick my foot, and then it's going to be something a lot worse." Love your spouses, guys, but be careful. Be careful. Yeah. Okay. So here. These are the old parts. Is the new part. Push that bearing in. Nice and flush. Now is a good time to check out your drive gears for any sign of wear or anything like that. If you need to clean things up, now is a good time to do it. I think we're doing good. And you may have noticed that one of these gets screwed in through the back. The other one gets screwed in from the front. So I'm just going to kind of get the one lined up. Line this up. And really at this point, we can be going through just the standard build out. This piece is not any different. This piece is the same. This piece, I believe, is going to be different. And I'm printing a new one out. It's not going to be black. It's going to be orange for now because I didn't have black loaded and I had orange loaded. What is this complaining about? The AMS assist motor is overloaded. Why is it overloaded? Oh, because you knocked your balls out? Is that it? Knock your balls out. You should be fine. Okay. I'm going to kind of, I don't know, need that part here in a few. Okay. For the box turtle, is there example pictures of the colored frames? The one render that's out there is on what's his name's page, or on the GitHub page, and I'm pretty sure. Okay, yeah, that is good. Sorry, the one that is out there is on Armored Turtles page, and I believe it only shows the God, words on stream sometimes. It only shows the gold frame, so might not be the best, but it is out there. That one, which needs to go through there, so. One goes here. And I'm like sitting here doing this going, maybe I should have done my wires first. But one of the things that I also need to be mindful of is my my end stops and the end stop wiring that I need to do will need to be I'm gonna have to like figure out the right. Let me clock over. Sorry. Once again, words on stream, sometimes difficult. The we're going to add in the two end stop sensors here. One right here. Sorry. There will be an end stop sensor right here and an end stop sensor that goes horizontally right here. The bearing goes on the back side of this slot and the top side of this slot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the common from here, join it to this one, and then have another pigtail out, and that's tying the two commons or the grounds together. And then we'll have a straight wire off of the standard. So what we're going to do is we'll try and set this spacing up on our OmniFixo when we go to solder that up, so that we have that spacing laid out and we can do the wiring without a bunch of excess wiring going everywhere. And actually, let me think through that. So we had that. We had the motor, the whatchamacallit, the hot end, the thermistor, chamber temp. There's one other plug on here, and then this is for the CNC tap. I may only be able to do the one above, so that may make it even easier. I need to look at this board and see what's what on this board. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see what's what on this board to see where I can plug in. So this will probably be a little bit easier because I'm only gonna do the one end stop on here. That makes life actually a lot easier. That makes life a lot easier. Sometimes having less options makes life so much more simpler because not having the option to do certain things will keep me from going down the rabbit hole, so to speak, and trying to get some things done. Not sure. I think the reason that we're using a different part is because, yeah, because we're doing the ECAS fitting side. So that's why we cannot use that one. And I need to use the one on printing. We'll add that piece in later. This is the pass through for mounting that back on, which means we can go ahead and put our board back on. Sorry, I know I'm like talking to myself here, but my whole thought process. This is my thought process. And I go to put this in. Yeah, so we're going to have to get this one. Let me look up the LDO documentation because I want to make sure I am going to be able to plug that in because I believe there is a spot for the XY in stop to plug in. If there's a spot for the XY in stop to plug in, then that will enable us to plug in that in stop without any problem. So we said LDO documentation. LDO wiring guide. That's exactly what we need, I think. Wiring the toolhead PCB. We've got the chamber thermistor, which is in the middle slot, the hot end thermistor in the bottom, the hot end cartridge, the inductive probe, and then we have the X end stop at the very top. That's what we need. So with that, we should be able to do our end stop right here, loop those wires up and around. I just kind of need to see where the placement, whoops, gauge where the placement is going to be here so I know about how far to make the wires. Make them a little long, but we'll be good there. The one end stop, we're not going to use the bottom end stop in this. Good God. Positive on the left, negative towards the big connector here. So positive on this side, negative on this side. So the common where the plungers go here, the signal wire goes towards the front of the board when we wire it up. And sorry, let me come back here and get caught up. No, she was aiming for the left foot on purpose. She didn't actually kick me. She just, so yeah, sorry. For the box turtle, if you're doing an LDO kit, it'll be blue, black, or space gray, standard blue, black, or space gray anodizing. You can go through PLL or DLL PDF and get a custom powder coated frame from them. Just know that if you buy an Evocate kit or if you buy the LDO kit, I think it comes with the frame, so you're going to have extra frame rails. Ads, oops, sorry about that. Yeah, it's just the 3 colors to start with, but I mean, if you want a different color, I'm sure that if there is enough interest, they may add the additional colors. Yeah, the pre-order is available at, I believe, 5, maybe 6 sites. So West 3D, Fabrico, KB3D. I have affiliates for West 3D and KB3D. And there's like 123 Co UK. Actually, I think it's here on the Box Turtle page. Yeah, 123D Co UK, Lab 4450, and I believe it's Alchemy 3E in Germany that has the kits. They're going to have the LDO kits. DLL PDF, you can get the frame, like I said, powder coated in whatever color they have. And then Evocate, you can get any of the bomb parts. You can get full kits, but it's a bomb in a box, right? It's not the LDO motors. It's a lot of the stuff I believe is from AliExpress, where we were all getting our stuff for our self-source stuff. Everyone that I've done so far has been self-sourced with AliExpress motors and stuff. Don't put a crap ton of thread locker on the Death Racer motor screws. There's such a thing as too much. Yes. Yes. Heat gun plus wires required to remove the screws. Yep. The other thing, the Death Racer wheels, that M3 50 millimeter countersunk. Be very, very careful what material you use. Okay. I used PET GCF. I reamed the holes. I still sheared off the heads of two of those screws about 30, 40 millimeters in, and had to use a pair of channel locks to grab hold of the screw nub and unscrew the darn thing. $3 and also a vendor. There you go. There you go. Okay, so I know that I can get the end stop, or at least one end stop on here. So we're going to do the top end stop, which is the crucial one for what we're doing with Box Turtle. So we're going to go ahead and add the first one. There should not crap. Probably what I will do is I will stick another ball bearing and an end stop in the bottom just to ensure that there is no wandering of the filament, even though I'm not going to wire it up. I do not want to switch this over to CAN bus. If I do anything, I will switch it over to a Nighthawk. But I'm not even going to do that just yet. I do have the Nighthawk boards here, but right now, the purpose of this kit is to be an LDO kit that is going to be on display at Evocate 3D here locally. What's my thoughts on it, Collie? Well, this is the 4th box turtle that I've built. And I am going to get an LDO kit as well to validate or evaluate the LDO kit ahead of the beta or the pre-orders. I have been told I'm getting one of those. So, yeah. Is it worth it? Yes. If you're thinking about doing a ERCFA, my ERCFA is sitting over here on a shelf under Tiamat. And right now, if I need I can't remember, I think this is standard Voron, so this most likely uses 5.5 millimeter bearings, and I don't think I have any more. I'm going to check over here and see if I do. If I do, great. If I don't, then I will be scavenging them out of ERCFA. So if that tells you anything, the MMB that is in ERCFA has been stripped. It is brainless, and I have no intent of running ERCFA again. Hey, look, there's ball bearings. Ha ha. Could be 5x5s. The other thing I'm going to look for real fast. So what I've got here is a hodgepodge. I had bought a couple of different ERCFA 1.1 to 2.0, whatever the hell the latest is, kits. And so I've got various bits and bobs parts here. And I know that I believe both kits came with like pre-cut to length number 4 blades. So I'm going to look and see if I can find one that's pre-cut, because if not, there's 100 blades, but you have to cut them to a specific length, which means taking them to a hacksaw or using a cutoff wheel on a Dremel. And I really don't want to do that. And I'd have to do that to get this done. So what I'm going to try and do is see if there is a pre-cut one in here. And if not, and at this point, what I probably should do is just buy some of the 5x5 or 5.5 bearings and put this whole kit as a giveaway to somebody, because yeah, not going to be doing an ERCFA anytime soon. So basically, the issue with ERCFA, as I see it, is, okay, great, you've got 8 lanes, so, or 12 lanes, whatever number of lanes. But that also means that you now have to manage that number of spools, right? You have to have a buffer at some point. With ERCFA V2, you've got cottontail. Okay, great. So that part's figured out. Now, what I was having with ERCFA V2 was issues with inconsistency between the lanes. right? That's what I'm going to say. It's inconsistency between the lanes. And that really comes down to the servo. And I did upgrade to the Savic servo, but also the D shaft. So I think you can snap the blade by bending in pliers. Yeah, probably, and I might have to do that. Because I'm not seeing a pre-cut one in here. Oops, maybe not. One other thing to try here. Nope. So not seeing it there, no big deal. No big deal. We'll keep doing what we were doing. And doing what we were doing was we were going to wire up a couple of end stops. And Petty Ruxpin, I don't believe Miss Dragon took the package today. I will make sure that she does it tomorrow, though. I will make her feel bad and guilt her. I'm teasing. She'll probably make me feel bad and guilt me. What I'm looking for here is I know I've got some extra wires sitting over here from the actual whatchamacallit build. That seems about fine. I shouldn't need more than that to do what I need. So I'll grab one of these other ones, cut it to that same length, and we'll have a piece to do our soldering with. Okay. Sit down, get off the foot, stop. And once again, one of these is going to be used. The other is just going to basically sit there to keep the lane alive, and that way I can wire it in later on if I need to when the need arises. Okay. I always buy the lever style because if you don't need the lever, you can pop them off and then put them over here for later use. If you what am I going to do? Fix that. Actually, yeah, we'll do this. If you need it, great, you have the lever. If you don't need it, by the way, everyone's a 3D printer. If you don't need it, then you don't need it, and you can pop it off easy enough. So what I may need to do, though, I'm just going to fit this in here and see how high the thing's actually a fairly tight fit in there. And yeah, we're going to need to cut these down some. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to cut these down a little bit. Maybe. And now we're going to take this one that we cut the nubs down on, and we need to go ahead and secure our wires on the two outer pins. So same thing like we're used to doing. We're going to 10 both sides of the wire. Or I'm sorry, both sides or both legs, and then we'll do our wire and 10 our wire and connect it real fast. Because there's going to be a circuit board behind it, we definitely want to remember to put some heat shrink tubing on here so that we don't cause any electrical shorts. We'll get some heat shrink tubing out as well. Print the jig you linked. What if I don't wanna? Actually, I have no idea. Oh yeah, this is gonna need to be trimmed. There's one that I have still from before, but I think this is still gonna be too long. We'll measure it, we'll check. We'll get to it in a second though. And I can always get to that part a little bit later. The biggest thing is getting this put together. We can add that on at a later time if we need to. Okay. That's done. The downside of cutting wires short, especially with PTFE, is just trying to get the darn thing to strip decently. But yes, I love the box turtle. I'm not trying to bash on ERCFA. ERCFA has its place. There's a lot of people that got ERCFA running and running very reliably. It's just, how can we say this? It's a tuner's paradise, right? There is a reason why we do tip forming. There is a reason. There's a reason why my soldering iron solder was not. Um, and yeah, I agree, Petty. I'm like, so many projects. That's why I'm like, I got to get this one done and out the door. So that I can get to work on the next major project for this channel, which I am hoping, actually, I am going to get started on Saturday. This may actually sit down on the floor. We're going to do the tool head. I will most likely set this over and do the wiring stuff on the back. What we're going to do is we're going to extend a CAN bus out to the backside of the skirts with a with like a keystone jack with a 4-pin wire, and what that will let us do is use our standard CAN bus wiring to connect the box turtle up. That will be the one thing that's CAN bus. Going to be a fact of life. But the nice thing there is it'll be removable, which will make it easy to move it around and, you know, take it over to Evocate without having the box turtle having to somehow be physically moved and connected to the printer. It will have a mount, don't worry. I am going to put your feet on it, Thunder Keys. Actually, whose feet? What? Who designed those feet, Thunder Keys? Was that you? All right, Luke. Let's not play that shit tonight. Sorry, language. Yeah, well, Alexa, I don't need you to help me with that. But thank you for chiming in. Give me a second. They were made by Wondro. Okay. Hey, Armored Turtle, how's it going? Yeah, we're soldering up a end stop for the tool head. So interesting on this tool head. I just double checked, and didn't just double check, but our tool head board. This is the LDO tool head board. It only has one available end stop on this board. So what we're going to do is we're going to install the one end stop at the top, and then we're going to physically install the second end stop at the bottom, but it's basically just going to be sitting there, not connected. I do have a Nighthawk board that I can put in this. However, the purpose of this build is an actual LDO kit build that can go on display at Evocate 3D, because they're going to start trying to sell some of the kits. So I don't want to, you know, I've already got tap on it, but that is really the only upgrade other than now switching the tool head over to a Filametrix setup for box turtle. So I want to keep it as stock as possible. For being out there, and then maybe down the road, if it comes back to me, then I will change things up. And put the Nighthawk in it so I can add the secondary sensor to it. So the ball goes in, the end stop will go in, and that's really to enable the filament path to still be good and not foul the filament path. And what I need to also figure out is whether or not I might have to clip the ends on this end stop as well. These are going to have to get bent over. Oh yeah, that's going to be fine. I just need to get my screws in place. Screw, screw, screw. Leave the D shaft. Yeah, that's my problem. Is I think the D shaft is deflecting on mine, or is bent. And the only thing I can think of, the easiest thing I can think of, for me in my case, is take it apart, and because this is a flat surface, put the D shaft down on here and see if it's bent, right? The mount to the frame feet, or at least he gave me, yeah. So that's what I've got 2 sets printed out. I'm going to put one on here. They'll be black, so they'll fit in with the overall theme. So, yep, all Wondro. There you go. It's all Wondro's fault. How's it going, Pete? Welcome in. Is the LDO kit complete, or is there anything else needed? It is complete. It's so that's the other thing. It is complete to include the basic turtleneck, which I haven't done yet on this build. And when I say basic turtleneck, I mean it is a basic turtleneck, which is turtleneck is the buffering system that allows, what is it, like 25 or 30 millimeters of buffering between the box turtle extruder, lane extruder, and the tool head extruder. It comes with the end stops for that. Yeah, and the Filametrix as well. The brain work. If you want to go with the turtleneck 2, that would be an upgrade that you would have to purchase the parts for. And I believe is Tech still the only one that has those boards? Armored Turtle. How you doing, Liz? Liz has been on like a stream palooza. Like she's been streaming multiple times a day. I think we got like 4 or 5 streams out of her yesterday. Wasn't that many, you know. We got to hype her up. Urgh, dang it, why do I keep dropping things? You're tired today? Yeah, I had to go into the office today, so I feel you there, Liz. And this is the this would be the spot where not having the socket head screws would actually be the better angle to have here. Like literally. This would be easier if I was using the standard self-tapping screws, but there'll be, oh, there we go. It went in. So once again, this bottom one is not being cabled up. It is just there for show. And basically it holds the ball bearing in place to give me a clean filament pass still. And we'll have the ability to wire this up if we switch over to the Nighthawk per se, right? So I will go ahead and get the board installed. We'll figure out the length. We'll trim this down. We'll plug that in. The other thing that I still need to do is we still need to put a heat sink in here, but that heat set insert needs to be drilled out. And then I have chosen in the past to drill out the M3 nut that will go in the top here in place of our PTFE tube. So when we get to this part, we'll do our drilling and then we'll insert our heat set in here and do that part. What else am I ready to do here? We're gonna add the board on here. Pezliz, Pezliz Pez, Pezliz Liz, Pezliz Color. In living color. Yep. You think everyone is out? RevD kits came with Nighthawk, don't they? I think they do. So this is a Rev C kit, and I want to keep it as stock as can be. Um, However, like I said, the Rev C kits come with Clicky Probe. I have never personally liked Clicky Probe, right? Um, that's just me. That's my thing. To me, anything that's servo based that you're having to basically um, move your probe out, it's just something else that can fail. So I preferred CNC tap. It's an all-in-one solution. It replaces the carriage. Um, and you don't have to worry about whether or not things are going to line up. Um, you don't have to worry about Z offset. Everything's just good to go. So that's my opinion. That's the way I feel. So that is the only mod that's in that kit right now is a Chaotic Lab CNC Tap V2. And what is going on with you? The one wire is like still getting in the way, even though I bent it out of the way. I see what it's doing. You go in there, you go there. Before I do anything else, small flathead screwdriver. Wire, get out from. Wires that just kind of want to go wherever they want to go. Okay. So that's that. This can go back here. Get plugged in. This loop just goes around the arm that'll come around here and hold the main wire bundle. You need to get this added in here. The shorter wire is the wire that comes around to the God, words. This is the wire that comes around to the negative side or the common side. So we'll strip that and we'll do this one first. That way we know which wire is where. And Armored Turtle, I don't know if I was getting, that was good. So it's a tad bit shorter now. I don't know if I was getting like a kit sent directly to me from LDO by you or how that was working, but somebody said they were sending me a kit. For me to do the LDO, the actual LDO one. I know Delmar was asking me if I was going to do like an actual like true build, and I was like a little bit more polished build video than these streams have been, and I told him like I would do it with the kit. you started printing your Voron parts and ABS on my P1S. Rock on. Yeah, Loctite is not grease. Red Loctite is only used in your engine. Do not ever use red Loctite on your 3D printer. You will have a bad time. It might actually cause you to cry. Just saying. I need one of these, and is this the right size? That is the right size. Good. Got some pins in here. And Liz, the VW buses that we were doing for Ferret Faucet, I've got a few of those going already. So it's a good thing that we decided that we were going to do them all the same way. And negative on the negative towards the tool head cable. Because, yeah, when I did them, for whatever reason, I did not change my default settings, and I realized it was like, man, this is taking a while. So I've now got some VW buses with black windows. So it's got their tinted windows, got the white headlights and VW symbol. And well, they're done at Voron print settings. So they're 40% infill. So they're a bit hefty. So it's a good thing that they're all going to be the same color, and hopefully the kids don't decide to use them against their siblings, because they're a bit chunky. They are a bit chunky. You guys aren't yelling at me for getting up and moving around as much as I am. Yeah, you had to initially crank the bed up to 100C to preheat for a few. Yeah, that's a good thing. You know, the other thing that you can do, and I've seen people do this, is either do raft with PLA, or do like one layer of PLA and then your part. I've seen people do that. And that tends to help with the adhesion, because the PLA is going to adhere to the bed pretty well. Yeah. I can't remember who it is. It's been posting videos about it, but yeah, they're using a layer of PLA, and you can basically like peel it straight off of the ABS once it's finished. I haven't done it yet because I do have pretty good printers for printing ABS and ASA. So I haven't had to go that route, but I am seeing that that is an option to assist with, you know, bed adhesion and reducing warp and stuff like that. What is... But I know the X1 carbons work really, really well for Voron parts. Work really, really well for box turtle parts too. Box turtles do print box turtles. Okay, so that goes there. Try and keep that bent out of the way. So that goes there. The chamber thermistor will go up at the top. And I believe that this will still flip around there just fine without needing to reprint this particular part. Maybe, maybe not, maybe. Yes. We can go ahead and get this fitted in because we don't have our one piece in the way. So we'll go ahead and get this fitted in there. We'll have our door on. Our other piece should be done. Supposed to be black. It's not. I'll live with it. You all can live with it. I can live with it. So we need to put our ECAS. We need to do some drilling for our our heat set insert modification and the M3 nut modification. M3 nut, M3 nut, M3 nut, M3 heat set insert. Now I know it says to chamfer it, that you don't need to drill it completely out, but here's the thing. If you're getting filament that's hanging up in your part, well, you're going to have inconsistencies. So I would much rather have the threads completely drilled out of this nut than to have the threads there and have a ledge that the filament can hang on and get bunched up. So that's why I drill mine out. So we're going to need a 3mm drill. So 3mm drill bit. Grab our pliers. We're going to have to hold our you know what? I might actually try with the 2.5 first to see if the 2.5 will clear the threads out. Clears the threads out, great. If not, then we'll have to use the 3mm. Clear all the thread out. Let me use my adult spectacles here, which is the iPhone camera on 3x. And there's, nope, still got thread there. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to want to hit it with the 3mm. Like I said, I would much rather have no thread than some type of thread ledge there that will cause problems. So be careful, because that actually stuck and started to switch, or switch, to twist. Might actually be easier to try and do with not a pair of pliers, but a the Nipix. We do the Nipix. Just because I can get multiple sides of it on the Nipix and hold it a little bit better. Being extra special careful that I don't damage my Nipix, of course. Or drop the screw down under the bench. Or screw, nut down under the bench. I promise you, no Nipix were harmed in this. I think we're good there. We need to do the same thing with our M3 insert, but I am going to go back to using my standard pliers on this one. Once again, the goal here is to clear the threads so that we have a clean filament path with no issue. Best way to do this, of course, would most likely be put it in a vise rather than trying to do it with a pair of pliers, but go slow, take your time. Wear appropriate PPE. So now we've got our two pieces appropriately doctored. That should let us have less chances of hanging things up in the filament path, which is what we're looking for here, is a clean filament path that will make our life easier. Armored Turtle, do you know, is the LDO kit for the Filametrix going to have the, I'll say the cleaned up two parts, or are you still going to be required to have to modify the nut and heat set? I have no idea. One thing you could also do is actually install your heat set insert into the part before assembling everything, and then drilling it out using the part itself as, you know, your hold down. We'll bring this back up here so that we can set that newly drilled out heat set. And that's going to be right in here, and it needs to be fully flushed down. I'm going to get it close and then use the back of my tweezers to make sure that it's fully flush. And the reason you're putting the metal parts in here is to enable your cutter to slide easily between them and not get hung up and broken. So that'll go there. That's there. This comes around and goes into the middle spot. That. Okay. So now we're going to take apart our tool head side. Just be some M3, I think it's by M316 that holds the two halves together. And then because this is a Revo, it's, I believe, M3 by 8s or M3 by 10s from the top, holding it in place. Seriously? Ugh. And I will recover all of the heat set inserts out of there eventually. Down and out of the way so I don't burn myself. Take our new parts. This gets lined up at the bottom. And we're going to have to find where we need to cut our PTFE tube. We're going to stick our tube back in there, and we're going to identify, we're just going to mark it where we're going to need to cut it, because the, once again, the nut that we just drilled out is going to go right there where my finger is. So we need a lot shorter PTFE tube now. So I'll put this in there and I will mark where this PTFE tube needs to be cut. So that we can cut this. And once again, I am going to take our new Capricorn chamfering tool. Chamfering tool, self-defense apparatus. And we're going to chamfer both the inlet and outlet slightly. And that's going to enable us to, you know, we will tip form a little bit. It will have to come up through this tube. So by doing this, it will allow that initial tip form tip, which will most likely be slightly bulbous, to come through or get pulled back up. Actually, I don't think it's actually going to get pulled up that far, because the cutter is going to be going right here. So we're probably going to pull the filament up somewhere into here. We'll cut it and then we'll ram it back down towards the tip. What we're trying to do is minimize the amount of, oh, okay, ferret faucet. So ferret faucet. Oh, sorry. I did tinted windows. I did white for the VW and the headlights. And as I was saying, they're fairly substantial. Apparently, I forgot that I was using my Voron like printed parts profile, so they're 40% infill. They're a little chunky. I normally do like 20% infill on the cars and stuff that I do for Toys for Tots, because kids can put a hurting on some toys, right? The last thing you want is to do a toy for a kid and it breaks in like 5 minutes, and now you've got a kid that's all upset because his toy's broken, and especially a Christmas toy, or toys that are going to, in this case, these toys are going to be going to a hard hit area of North Carolina. So we definitely want to make sure that they're in good condition and that they're going to last for these kids. Thank you, Ferret Fawcett and Liz, for giving me the opportunity to do that and participate in that. I'm just going to do a little press there to make sure that it's that nut is like fully seated down there and no issues. Which it is. That's good. And just like that, we've got our bottom half back installed. We still need to do the lever here. So we're going to switch over to, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it as well. Filametrix, here we go. So to install this, we need this cut to 26 millimeters. So we'll make our mark and we'll figure out how to bend this or cut this with our pliers. So .26 millimeters. No. Put marker on my table. Okay, and it's right where the, in my case, on this particular build, it's going to be right where the bottom of the oval is. So we're going to see if we can't make this snap, preferably without getting ourselves in the face or something. Okay, well, we got it to snap, but it snapped. I need to snap a little bit more off. So and that was one side. Now if I can get the other side. Not the cleanest back edge, but I think we got it. I could probably file it down a little bit to make sure that we're good. Just be very careful. Okay. I don't know why I put this away because I'm probably going to need it again. Now, this is either going to slip right in very easily or you're going to have to push it in. And this, once again, slips in very easily, which means I need to put a drop of super glue on this and then stick the blade in. Which also means that when I go to do this, because I'm putting super glue on it, that I might have to just reprint this part when I go to do the next blade. And just note that these blades are consumables. Okay, these blades are consumables. Meaning that you're going to have to swap them out over time. They are going to dull from snapping through filament over and over and over again. Especially if that filament happens to be a carbon-filled filament. So just be aware of that. So we've got that cut and we've got that going into the knife holder. We do see it right there in that hole. We did add some glue depending on the scalpel tolerance. That piece will go in here and we are going to use a M 2.5 by 15 screw is directly screwed into the plastic of the knife holder. The tip of the screw should be flush with the cutting arm or no more than 0.1 to 0.3 millimeters above it. So that is a 2.5 millimeter screw. Okay, so let me grab the other kit stuff over here because I'm not sure if I've got a 2.5 millimeter screw. These are M2s. I may have 2.5 somewhere, but it's probably going to be in here where I have one. Hey, thank you for following Lentishara. Welcome into the Dragon's Den. We are dragging a project out a heck of a lot longer than it needed to be, but you know, we're working on building another box turtle, and yeah, I have been dragging it out just because I hurt my foot a couple of weeks back, and I'm trying to stay off of it and stay seated a lot more than normal, which is really just an excuse, but M 2.5 by 16. Hey, I told you I was going to find it in here. No, I broke my toe on stream a few weeks back, and so I'm trying my best to stay off of it before the doctor and my spouse get really, really mad at me for not doing that. So, okay. So, how are we doing this? So, looking at it in this way, looking at it this, it says one's up or down. So basically, we're threading the screw through the blade holder piece, and the oh, whatchamacallit, the screw is becoming the pivot joint for the blade. So it's freewheeling. The screw is freewheeling through this part, and then it's tight and threaded through the part that's actually holding the blade. And it's going to be okay if it is standing proud on this side, because it's not going to laterally move much. It's very critical that this side be flush or just about, because this is the side that's going that will be rubbing right in here. So this is the side that will catch on the printed part if it's not in the right spot. So that's the piece that you have to be careful of. And I hope everybody's having a great night tonight. I know I'm kind of still scatterbrained all over the place. I apologize. Add heat set insert under the body here. It does say to use a 2.5mm drill. I wound up using a 3 because 2.5 does not get rid of the threads. And once again, you have, in this case, we're cutting the filament off. So we're going to have a 90-degree cut, like a flat cut on the filament, which means if it can catch on any ridge in that path, it will. It's not going to, so we're trying to get rid of anything that will cause that filament to hang. We got those. We got that prepped and ready. All right. So what I need to do now is actually come up here and see what we have to kind of build it from the diagram, really. So we've got the number 4 scalpel. It's in this piece, which is the knife holder, the M2x5x16. There's a spring. There's an M3x18 flathead screw. They provide an M3x20. We'll have to see. That should be okay. If not, I think I have some, I might have 18s of my own. We'll see if the 20 works. And what's going to happen is this blade, where are we going here? Nope, that's it. So we're going to be putting this screw in through here, through the upper bolt hole here, and into the heat set insert. So we should be good to go here, but what we're going to need is a spring. Now, none of these kits came with a spring, but I will let you in on a secret. The spring you need is from a standard ballpoint pen. So if you got a busted ballpoint pen, find a spring from it. If you don't have a busted ballpoint pen, well, bust a ballpoint pen. And when I say busted ballpoint pen, I mean like a dry or a dead ballpoint pen, or just a cheap chintzy ballpoint pen that you could care less about. Wow. And I really don't have one in here because I normally have a crappy ballpoint pen or two that I could care less about. Um, give me a second, folks. I'm going to hobble my way downstairs and grab one from the junk drawer, and I will be right back. Un momento. So bear with me. Okay, I'm back. Needed to just find some cheap, well, I say cheap, basic ballpoint pen. Okay, all you need is a basic ballpoint pen. I'm used to, I worked in the government for years, so I'm used to having like the very, very cheap, you know, Lighthouse of the Blind, which, by the way, the Lighthouse of the Blind is it's not actually blind folks, it's convicts that are making stuff. But anyhow, all you need is a spring out of one of these. Um, simple, yeah, simple. This one should fine. That one doesn't want to work. Lane Associates, there we go. All you're doing is looking for that spring right there. Take the spring out, take the pin and toss it because it's not going to be spring loaded anymore. And that's the spring that you're going to use for your Filametrix. Yeah, you can get cheap ones at Dollar Tree. We tend to pick some up like here's Minneapolis by Nature, you know, the Arc. It's just normally you've got a junk pen around somewhere, you know, use it. Put all that stuff back in. That one in there. But yeah, you're just looking for a cheap pen or I'll say a busted pen. Um, and you can use that. You just need the spring out of a pen. It works well. There's no need to go and buy a specific pen. Like I said, go down and get them from the dollar store. So what we're going to do is get the spring is going to go here and into that cup right underneath the blade. You line that up, push it in. Once again, be careful, you've got that blade there. So you'll push it in, hold it in place with one finger. Take your M3 bolt, put it through there. And once again, this is going to be a pivot joint, so you're just screwing it down until it bottoms out. It doesn't have to be cranked down for the edges. You just want this to be smooth, and there's your spring-loaded tensioner. And to prevent it from coming way out like you kind of see it there, we're going to need an M3x8 screw. Mine are all behind me, I think. Or at least the black ones. We're going to grab one of these. And you're going to push that in and start an M3x8 screw right there. And that's going to keep it from popping all the way out and busting this and not aligning. That's what keeps this from going any further left, and will give you a rock solid point to do your tap movement against, right? And don't worry about this, it'll stay down because it's going to have the top piece. So there we go. We've got all of our parts and pieces done. What I need to do now is sit down on the floor again and put this back in the printer. And I will also need to set up this arm. So let's actually get that set up before we go too much further here. I'm going to scroll back down here a bit. I've already got a heat set in both sides there. We're going to need, what does it call for? Actually telling me what size bolts to use. So the one coming from the back side isn't going to be that much. It's going to be a, I think this is the M3x8 flathead screw. What I want to do though is take a look at Iron Dragon over here, just to get an indication of about how high it was. Pretty much all the way up at the top, and we're all the way in the back. Okay. And I put that back in here. So there should be like some M3x8 flathead cap screws in here. And you're going to use one of those on the back side of this to hold this part in place. So the front side has little grooves on the printed part there, and the one side of this has matching grooves in it. So you're going to basically line that up using the M3x8 to screw it into place and hold it in place. Let's get that set up and started. And we can adjust this once we add this into the printer. Let me double check real fast though to see how many, if any, tick marks I had up there or visible. And what I'm doing is I'm basically comparing the height to what I had over on the other printer because, well, any gantry or any Voron gantry, it's going to be the same, right? You're either going to be, well, actually, regardless of whether it's a 2.4 or a Trident, your gantry is the exact same. It's just one's fixed and one's being raised up and down. So your XY gantry is the same. The other thing we're going to need now is a button head cap screw and a M3 bolt. And I know from practice that it's got to be longer than the one that they specify in this guide. Because I have mine sticking out a lot further. And I will get in there and measure that to see how far out I need to extend that. Because once again, it's going to trigger in the same place because it's, well, within a millimeter or two probably, right? So let me get a smaller, easier to read measuring device here, and I will measure how far this is sticking out. So we're sticking approximately 19 millimeters out, which means I'm going to want at least a 25 millimeter button head cap screw. So do I have any big ones here? No, I've already moved them over here. So I need a 25 or a 30 millimeter button head cap screw. We'll grab a 29 millimeter, or excuse me, a 25 millimeter one. 25 millimeter. And we're going to need an M3 nut. Grab a black one. So it'll go with this. And what we're going to do is thread this nut on. Okay, so we're just going to thread that nut on randomly, and we're going to screw this in. And I know my reveal is going to be 19 millimeters. Roughly thereabouts. So I've got approximately 19 millimeters of the bolt showing. Now I'm going to take this nut and just bring it all the way down and grab my pair of pliers and give it a little bit of an extra oomph. And that's going to lock that in. So this now makes the plunging for my locking mechanism here. So this is going to get mounted at the back of the back left side of the gantry. This will get mounted on there, and the tool head will always go to the back left, probably about that far away, and then it'll come over, hit this, push, and come back. And it'll do that twice, and that's going to cut the filament and make sure that we got a good cut. Okay, that's the way I've got my macros set up. So a couple of things we got left to do now is we need to grab the part off the printer. So let's grab this. Once again, the original part that we're replacing was black. This is orange. Nobody's going to really know unless we tell them. But this has the, so if you can see the thickness there and then the thickness here, you'll see that this has kind of a notch out, and that's going to allow the ECAS fitting, or this to go around the ECAS fitting. So drop that down in there. And we'll get that lined up in there. Get this last screw in, which will become the pivot point for that piece. And then we'll take it out and we'll make sure that the guidler arm is pushed all the way in this time when we push this down in there. So it'll go down in the slot in the guidler arm and not into open air. How's it going, Chewy? Hope you're doing well, friendo. What is going on there? That's there. Did I do the wrong one? How did I do the wrong one again? Did I do the wrong? All right, something's funky. Something funky. I don't know what it is, but something funky. So how's it going, Chewy? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. Huh. All right, so something feels funky here. Yeah, that's awesome. Did I print the wrong thing? I did. I still printed the wrong thing. I still printed the wrong one. Okay. Now I need to find the right one. Um, what? Huh. So I think whatever it was, I had printed it directly, and well, I printed it directly. That makes sense. I think what it was is I had printed it, like sending it or like print plate directly from uh, bamboo slicer, which when you do that, it does not keep the file in the SD card memory by default. So I'm going to have to try and find the right file and reslice it. So I can basically I can put this back in there and get things tidied up, but I won't be able to like actually close this up and well, I say close it up. I can do everything, but I'll have to still add that one uh, piece and bolt. But we can still go through and put the rest of this together. Oh, I was like, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my ECAS fittings. ECAS fittings. ECAS fittings. Where did I put the box? Oh, there we go. Box that was right here. This box, which has all of my ECAS fittings in it. 4-box turtle. So we'll grab one of these ECAS fittings. One of these pieces, one of these pieces. Ooh, there's one that's already ready. So the ECAS fitting on here, I believe, is the same way, meaning you don't have the bottom piece. The bottom piece meaning the extra rubber piece on here. I might double check that thought process and measurement. Don't have what I'm looking for, but I do have another mechanism of just doing a quick eye measure. And looking at this, it actually does look like it uses the black rubber piece at the bottom. So we'll put one of these fully together here. Like the depth is such that it would use the black rubber piece at the bottom, which is really weird because it's been so long since I put one of these together where it needed that. Get that seated. We'll put the black rubber piece back on. Does the rubber piece go? Okay. Now we'll take this whole thing and we'll need to press it down in there just like that. Now that's good. And we can, like I said, we can mount that. We can mount this. We can mount this and get all that back in the printer. What we won't be able to do is actually like start putting things fully together and testing it. But it's also 8 o'clock and yeah, I kind of want to relax, put my foot up and ice it a bit. It is a little bit, I need to do that before Bexy Beans yells at me and Free Heathen yells at me and everybody yells at me about still being on my foot. Hey, Wilco, how's it going? Yes, rest is good, I know. And I'm going to have to figure out the right piece to do up there. And I'll get that printed and installed. When we come back on Saturday, I'll get this stuff off. We'll have the printer up here. We'll have the box turtle on top of the printer because my plan will be I will put this on its side on the floor and I will sit on the floor and do that other wiring that I need to do under the deck so that we can get CAN bus set up on here and get that wiring ready to go. Okay? So I'm going to do that off stream. I'll do that on Friday. Right now I'm going to sit down here. I may try and bring the camera over here a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. By that I mean by literally doing something like this so you can watch me. I'm going to get this stuff mounted back in the printer and try and get some things set up here. I'm going to need some bigger screws there. Let's say we flip over to 10s to mount that. These two going out of there. Okay. So one of the first things we need to do is set up this piece. There's two places you could do it. You can either set it up all the way at the front or all the way in the back. Now I want to look at the back position here. And yeah, we should be good. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the last two screws in my titanium backers here, and that will allow us to put in some longer M10 screws through this piece and into those same twist in, or I'm sorry, roll in lock nuts that are underneath there. So we want to try and take these screws out and straight up so that we don't move the roll-in T-nuts underneath. So that we don't knock them out of position. Now this would probably be a ton easier to do if I simply removed the side panel, but I'm lazy. And I just remembered I'm probably going to have to remove the side panel to be able to get to this one, but we'll see. It may be that I had to do that on the Trident because the Trident does not have, whoops, the Trident does not have a gantry that can go up and down. So you have less room to play with. So that there. Okay. One there. This one's going to go up here. Dang it. Well, darn you. This is where Digital Dragon starts getting frustrated because the heads of his bolts are just a tiny bit loose. And of course these, well, I say a tiny bit loose on my driver here. And the they're stainless steel, so it's not like I can put a magnet on it and use a magnet to hold them in place on the driver, because stainless steel is not magnetic. I literally, hey, I got it in there. Awesome. Okay, so that plunger piece is now installed here. I'm going to have to move it front and back, but that's going to come into play once we get the tool head fully mounted in here and ready to go. So we're going to start just like we ended, or we finished. Yeah. We've got to put the top on first using our M3x8 screws. So we'll get that lined up here. And we'll use our M3x8 screws to screw this piece in. These are going, there's 2 holes and it goes right into the top of the CNC tap mount. And I know it's like, hey, you're watching a guy sit on the floor and play with his printer, but I really don't want to try and lift this up right now with my foot the way it is. So please bear with me, folks. All right, so that's nice and rigid mounted there. Now we need to do some of our wiring. I need to bring this up. I believe this went under my my chamber thermistor and got plugged in at the front there. We'll get that plugged in. Then what I want to do is get my cable chain arm put back in place. And there's a screw that comes in from the front and then one that goes in from the back. And I'll do the one from the front first, or attempt to at least. Attempt to get that lined up. Lined up. So the one from the front goes in at the bottom, the one from the top, or the other one goes in from the back, and it's the one that's higher up. Get that one installed. Now we can plug in our multi-plug cable here. And like I said, this may be pretty easy to retrofit with a Nighthawk and clean up some of the wiring. But for now, I'm trying to keep this as a, as much of a Rev C kit as I can, as a stock Rev C. Goodness gracious, where is this? There we go. Yay, we've got the wires lined up and put in. Now we're going to take our lower piece here, and these two just clip underneath some M3x10 screws that are just sitting in there. So it's going to clip underneath, and then we'll be able to put our fan shroud on. And well, actually, it's going to clip underneath, and it should be able to sit in place there on. In place. Are you lined up there? Lined up there? Anyhow, we're going to get our hot end wires screwed back down, which means I need to get my tiny flathead screwdriver. There and there. Doesn't feel like it's lining up appropriate. Get this plugged in. That's plugged in, this plugs in, and the only spot left, we'll kind of tuck those wires in best as we can. This has to come down. Still feels like that's not lining up appropriately. Something's not lining up there. I don't know what it is. Feels like this left side is a little high. I'm sorry, it feels like instead of being straight that it's kicked out this way. So the left side is, sorry folks, I'm going to kind of lay down here so I can see a little bit closer in here to try and figure out what might be causing that issue. Back. I literally have like no idea what this is. Catching on. I'm confused now. Like, I don't know if there's something that just needs to be filed or. All right, I'm going to have to. But there, whatever it is, there is sure as heck something on the left side here that is keeping this from going up all the way. It's never easy. All right, folks, I'm sorry. Um, I am going to have to troubleshoot this after I ice my toe that I just hit. Feels good. Feels fabulous. I'm not sure if there's something there that I need to file down or what the deal is. Yeah. Oh, look, he is taking a nap. Yeah, I wish I was taking a nap. Hey, zombie, welcome in and welcome. Thanks for the lurk. So what I'm installing, I need to move stuff around in order to bring the printer up here. But what I'm trying to do is reinstall the Filametrix toolhead. Okay. And what I'm getting is, let me go full display here. Actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think I can get this any closer there just because cable wise, right? Um, yeah, I'm not going to be able to get it there. But what I'm getting is okay. You see how this side right here, how it's sitting flush? Mine's not doing that. There's a gap on this left-hand side. So this side is flush, this side is not. And I need to figure out why it's not flush. Um, because it's not presenting very obvious. So I may have to take it back out of the printer, put it side by or lay it down here on the table and try and figure out why it's not lining up appropriately. So in fact, that's what I'm going to need to do. So we pull this, we unscrew these, and I should be able to lay this flat down on the bed there because, or the bed, on flat down on the bench because the back of this is up against the back of the uh, CNC tap carriage. So basically, it's pretty close to flat to flat. But I'm gonna have to take it out and put it on the bench to try and figure out what is giving me the issue there as to why this is not lining up. Move this. Out of the way. Once again, I'm trying to remove the 12 or 14 pin connector, which is being a pickle. Come on, darn you. There we go. That's out. Now we got the long screw from the back. Long screw from the back, short screw from the front. And the cable chain will then be detached. So we will take the 2 and 3x8 screws out that are holding this to the CNC tap carriage. And we'll be able to pop this extruder over to the bench and try and figure out why, what's hitting. That's hopefully we'll be able to see what's hitting that is causing us an issue. Because what we should be seeing aha. See, it should be kind of looking like that, right? The problem is, really, wakey, wakey. Okay, apparently my Stream Deck decided to go sleepy on me. Deck, yep, you're there. Don't know why my Stream Deck went to sleep on me. Okay. So basically what we're looking for is these two should be touching, right? But they need to be touching in about like that, right? But something's catching. And I think where it's catching is alignment right here with that. So I've got something wrong in these parts. Something is not right with this part. Because if that lines up and that lines up, oh, so it should be lining up just like that, which allows this to still move, but something is not lining up. And I don't know what or where. I don't know if it's the way this is fitting on the bracket or what. So let me. Oh, could it really be just that? Could it really only be that the screw that I'm trying to hook in behind was screwed in too far? Like maybe I actually screwed that in instead of one of the other screws that I needed to screw in? Oi! I tell you what a pain in the butt. So let me take my 2.5 and we'll go and we'll try and put this back in there again. But before I do all the cabling up at the top, I will get the bottom end and then the top end, or the top and then the bottom end, and then we'll do, yeah. Think you know what I'm putting down there. This gets put on. That one goes there. This one, there. Now, okay, why are you? That'll go there. These wires will go back up here and get into the push connectors. Push connectors being screw down connectors. That one there. Around, goes underneath there. There. Okay. Sorry, folks. I know this is not very exciting, especially when you can't see anything that I'm doing now. I promise you, I am trying to get my cables aligned in the appropriate spot. Get everything screwed back in the appropriate spot. Get some cables plugged back in over here. Those two are up this. Now we're always a little like M3 by whatever button head screw that closes the door. Always the pain in the butt to get lined up. Like, what is the exact, um, like the exact wire routing to let that line up perfectly so that you can screw in the screw down and lock the door. Door is going to frustrate longer, so maybe I will futz with this a little bit later. Or not, I don't know. One last. All right, done futzing with the door. We'll futz with that later. Sure that this lines up now. Fan shroud always has to line up. If fan shroud's not lining up, then that means that um your pins on your fan shroud are not lining up, and that leads to a bad day. So you always need to make sure that your fan shroud is lining up and the pins are lining up as appropriate. Okay. Like I said, I apologize. I probably should have gotten up and adjusted that camera so that you guys were seeing more of what I was doing, but I could not, or I could not. I can't really put this up on the table at the moment just because the condition of my foot does not allow me to. So I'm going to get this, try and get this buttoned up. Feels like everything is lined up, but if memory serves me right, one of these screws needs to be a little bit shorter. Otherwise, it will interfere with the cutting mechanism. And I may need to do a little slight, ever so slight bit of filing on a couple of these parts just to make sure that we've got good and appropriate clearance so that the cutter is reliable. So after getting all that put in place, I may need to take it back off to do some filing. Of one of the parts, or it could just be that right now the issue I'm running into is the top left screw on your shroud. I believe is supposed to be made like a size smaller because of clearance difference. Right, so let me see what this one is, and I will have to grab one size smaller. Yeah, this is a 20. I want to say that it's supposed to be taken down to like a 8 or like an 18 or a 16. bum, 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 bum. Where, oh, where is it? Oh, 1 M3 by 18 socket head replaces the top left M3 by 25. Well, I had a 20 in there to begin with, but I do need to swap this out for an 18. So that's one piece. And then the other thing is I did the same thing I forgot to do before. And we get to take the tool head back apart because I forgot to put 2 M3 washers in. And I'll show you where. The good news is I think I only need to take the bottom half out, which also means I need to take the, well, let me rephrase that. I can fix it over here without having to take the, all the, or not, the, undoing the wires for the heater, but I'll bring it back up there to show you guys. That's the right way to do it. And quite honestly, this is a good test fit because I still need to print the one piece. And when I print that one piece, I've got to screw it in. So the fan shroud is going to have to come off anyhow. I need both of these because I need to get to my wires and pop my wires out. Or pop the hot end wires back out. Undo this. Do these. Okay. So this feels like it's going good right now, but as soon as I put it in the printer, it's starting to stick in the open, or in the cut position like that, which of course blocks your filament path and will cause you problems. So what did I miss? Well, I missed putting a M3 washer on each side on this bolt. So we get to pop this out. Remember, you got a spring there, so apply some tension. Okay. So we're going to need M3 washer on each side. So we'll get our bolt there. We'll put a washer there and get our bolt started. Come on now. Fingers, do your thing. washer there. Bolt started. We're going to take our piece here, get our spring going. Come on. There we go. Get that pushed in. Now we're going to need another washer to be pushed into that area. We'll get it kind of going. Pull our bolt slightly and try and work it into position without flipping it out of the way. I swear when I did this the last time, it went in a lot easier, but that was then, this is now. And it's possibly the amount of tension I have from that, so. And that completely dropped it out of position. So that was a good no-go, Luke. Ow. Okay. So now, after stabbing myself, there's now a washer on either side. So now I'm going to have nice, I've got bearing surface. It's not going to be printed part against printed part causing friction. I now have a bearing surface there. And I should not have any problems with this getting stuck. And I can't tell you how many times I've built these things and had to take them apart because I either did not put the screws here, or I didn't put this in 3x8 right here, which will allow this to open up further. And then you have a chance of this jamming and getting caught. So very critical that you get the washers in on either side of this pivot joint, and that you get the M3x8 here that prevents this from opening up too far. Very critical. Oh. Hey, Airbrush Master, how's it going? Sort of. So the box turtle, okay. The box turtle is, for the most part, done. So we've got the box turtle here. We've got our 4 little nubs. We've got everything wired up. I need to still cut a bottom panel for this to hold my wire mess in a little bit better. And then our cable has been made. I just haven't connected it in, but I need to connect our 4-pin cable in through the side here. But I need to figure out the overall length that I'm going to cut it. So, I guess whether I go on the back or the side, I can just kind of guesstimate. Comes in lane 1, right? Yeah, so roughly here, come down somewhere around here is where I'm going to cut, and we will do this side. What am I looking for? So what we're going to do is we're going to just have some length of cable here, right? This end goes in the box turtle. Right here, it'll come out through said hole, and then we're going to have some length of cable. I'll give myself a little bit extra. And we're going to be plugging this in at the back of the printer into a 4-wire keystone jack. Okay? And so what we'll do is we'll just get in here and we'll say snip. Hopefully that is now long enough and I didn't just short myself, because that would really suck. Which means this piece of wire, right, I will make the under bed wiring from, or under deck. So what's going to happen is, like, this will go into the board. I will obviously be redoing some of this, but one side will, the high and low will go into the board. Plus and minus will go into a 24-volt DC. And then this length will be then cut to the right length and have a female 4-pin connector that will be embedded in a keystone jack in the skirt of the 2.4 down here on the ground. That way I can disconnect it from the printer, take out the PTFE hose. This is now separate from the printer. So I can put this in the car easier without having to worry about this going everywhere. This will then be sitting on top, and the whole thing will be on display over at Evocate. So we'll work on doing this wire and stuff on Saturday. What I'm going to do, actually, I will most likely try and do that tomorrow. I'm going to do this sitting on the ground. I'm just going to flip it over on its side because of my foot. And I might get Miss Dragon to help me clean off the desk here so that we can then lift the printer up right here. And I'll put the box turtle up there once that wiring's done. And then that way I'm not putting extra weight on my foot trying to lift things that I should not be doing. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Folks, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call it a night. Okay. Partly because I need to go down and I got in trouble because I haven't been icing my foot, because I figured, well, it's been 3 weeks. I shouldn't still need to be icing this. Apparently my doctor yesterday had a different opinion. So I need to continue to ice my foot for a while longer. We're getting close. We are getting close on this. Saturday we should be able to get done with this, which means that next week then we would be able to start on the LH Stinger. Regardless, even if I have to do some more stuff off stream, next week we're starting on Tuesday. We're starting the LH Stinger. Okay. And with that, I don't know why this has stopped working on me. It's annoying. But let me come back over here to the main view. Thank you, Mr. Wizix. Yeah, so the doc said, hey, you have a broken foot. It does not appear to her that it is infected, which is good. But I do need to continue to ice it and help it along. So we're going to do that. Yeah, kind of where we're at. So let me actually, I was going to say, let me figure out where we're going to go. I know exactly where we're going to go. We're going to go over to Big Jano, provide he is already streaming, because it's Thursday, which is Marble Night. And, well, Mrs. Dragon will already be over in Jano's stream anyhow, waiting for marbles to happen. So I figure we'll just go over there. She gets mad because I raid in and bring more people to compete with in marbles, which kind of a win-win for me at that point. The all hands went well today. The all hands went very well. Got some good FaceTime. I asked a question of the VP, and he sat there. He goes, "Luke, was that you asking that question?" I was like, yes, it was. Not sure if it's good or bad that the VP knows my name. We'll say it's good, but in the security realm, I mean, that could always be good or bad. I'm always the bearer of bad news. But yeah, is what it is. So, hugs to you, Mrs. Dragons. Yes, Pezliz. Big hugs, big hearts. And we will see you guys around the interwebs. So thanks everybody for being here and hanging out tonight. I know sometimes you're like just looking off in space as I'm talking and sitting down the floor working. My apologies. When I get it up here on Saturday, I will talk through everything that I have done. I promise you. But yeah, thanks. I'm going to get the raid going for Big Jano. And you all have a good night. I will probably see you over there. I'll jump on the iPad downstairs so I can play marbles. And I will see you guys on Saturday, Liz, Saturday morning. Coffee, right? Oh, I will. I'll ice the foot. And I still owe you information, Rittenhouse. I will make sure and I will pull out the little I've got a little container that has the here, because words on stream is apparently not my forte today. So I will leave the Gridfinity piece that has all of my SD cards and card reader out next to my computer. So tomorrow, while I'm sitting here at work, I will start reviewing every single one of these, and hopefully I haven't written over it and I've got a better config file for you. If not, I may have one on this computer. So I will keep looking to find the latest config file for you. But have a great one, everybody. See you on Saturday.